Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining me. We'll look into some more MTG Finance and possibly some other more important stuff than just this. But let's start off with the finance. Let's have a look at the revised dual lands and see what's been happening for the last couple of days. It's been a while. I think I was just busy after the New Year's and everything. Back to work takes a lot out of you. But let's have a look. So the first things first, Volcanic Island. It is flatlining since the end of last year. Moderately played for $579.99. Doesn't sound too bad. Lightly played for 715 is still on the high end. It still feels skewed to the higher end of the market. It doesn't look like the drop is very significant. And I think one of the things is a lot of the people that did buy in are kind of holding out at this value, and we're going to have to see if anything changes, and also more importantly, if anything changes because of what is going to come out tonight, tomorrow morning. Depends on where you guys live and where everyone is, but yeah, we're going to have to find out what's going to happen based on the CPI report coming out soon. So next one, Badlands. Badlands is $389.95 for moderately played, and you got a lightly played for $438.74. Still feels pretty hot to me. Bio, on the other hand, looks like it's taking a massive dip as far as MTG stocks is concerned. Let's have a look at TCG. TCG Bayou is coming up as, yeah, still on the way down slowly. A lightly played for $356.84. Okay, comment below, but that feels pretty good to me. A near mid for $431. There is a chance that Bayou is very much on the low. Plateau looks like it is actually bouncing up pretty aggressively. Yep, TCG player showing a similar pattern. But a lightly play for $290 still doesn't sound too bad. Savannah dropping slightly from MTG stocks, and pricing is at lightly played for $285.98. Once again, that doesn't sound too bad. What do you guys think? This is starting to sound like just before the massive pump of 2021, even though it doesn't look like MTG stocks and TCG have caught that in the trend. Some of these lightly plays are coming back to prices that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, look at this. $284 lightly played. If I go back in time and figure out when the Savannah was $284, it was November. Wait, 200 was it 285? 285. So 285, and it's a bit of a weird jump, but 285 was February of 2021. But that's actually hard to tell because that'll be the premium stuff. So I'd probably say that you're looking at January 11th, 2021, just before a massive buyout happened for a lot of these reserve list dual lands. So these prices are coming back to early 2021 before a massive spike happened to them, where they started sitting at like $370 and $71, and now sitting at $285. $100 wiped out, almost 30. Is that 25% wiped off the Savannah's total value? That's pretty crazy for these kinds of prices. Moving over to Scrublands, you can see it dipping slowly as it goes, but pricing wise, you're looking at lightly played for $292.48. Not bad. Tiger, once again, it's slowly dropping off, but nothing too crazy. A bit of a peak as far as TCG player goes. You can see it bounced up pretty well at 10th of the 12th, so about a month ago now. And you can get a lightly played for $396. That actually feels a bit on the high end. I know that Tiger is one of those cards that just has not dropped much at all over the last couple of months. And Tropical Island, $399. Really, Tropical Island is usually pretty high up. It has taken a massive dive as far as TCG play goes. You can find a lightly played for $445. And last one that can show us what the trend is really doing, Underground Sea, very much on the higher end. It is still dropping, but has flattened out a bit. You can find one for moderately played, $489.99. A lightly played for $597.98. Still feels a bit on the higher end, but you're going to have to wait and see. I think it really does depend on where these prices. It depends on what the market is going to do. And currently, the market's actually moving up, which I wouldn't say it's a great indicator that these cards are going to move up as well, because it depends on what CPI is going to come out. But if inflation is on the lower end, there is a chance that people might start buying back into these collectibles. Moving over, standard, nothing too crazy for standard. Usually I don't think standard is a good one to keep an eye on anyways. Modern, plenty of things moving around. You got Counterbalance moving up 23% to now sit at $34.82 for the week. Dark Steel Forge, another 16% gain to now sit at $37.42. Elish Norn, 14% gain to now sit at almost $30. Another Elish Norn, 11% gain to now sit at $31. Obviously, just one of them is Phyrexia, and the other one is Double Masters, I think. Crater Hoof Behemoth, an 8% gain to now sit at $36.38. Truthfully, not much else really around about that 10% mark. Everything else is lower than that, which is unusual compared to the previous week. But then you can also see that not much has dropped much either. You got Seachrome Coast dropping by 14% to now sit at $12.71. Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, now sitting at $17.10 and negative 8% drop. But aside from that, nothing more. Moving over to Pioneer. Vorinclex, actually, let's just have a look. Vorinclex is only a 4% gain. Archangel of Thune is only a 5% gain. You got Diagraph Colossus at 50% gain to now sit at almost $4. Thassa's Oracle, a 9% gain to now sit at $14.65. Seeker, 7% gain. I guess that's important enough. Trapjaw Tyrant, 15% gain to now sit at $7.46. Forsaken Monument, 11% gain to now sit at $8.85. And Haunting Voyage, a 14% gain to now sit at $7. Over the All Form, at 12% drop to now sit at $15.68. Man, that guy actually has gone completely crazy. The last time I saw him, he was nowhere near that. Finale of Glory, 22% drop to now sit at $4.09. And Najani Strength of the Pride, a 10% drop to now sit at $7.68. Okay, so we'll ignore everything else because I actually think this is far more important. If anyone's hanging around until this point in the show, please hit the like and subscribe. Just motivation, but I know it's very hard for me to stay more, I guess, consistent with this, but I'll try as best as I can, especially if I can figure out more things to talk about. But as far as the market goes, I think a lot of things have happened, and I did want to give an out brief anyways. First things first, let's have a look at what happened to Hasbro. Now, last time I checked with everyone, Hasbro was sitting around about here, and I said it is exceedingly oversold, especially because on the monthly, it looks like it had to go above this point and finish the month. And look at what it did. It did exactly that. And sadly, I didn't hang on to all of this trade. And it is not 7% because I jumped in way before that. I pretty much thought that it was oversold. And so if you jumped in, let's say around about here, and I think I exited probably, where did I exit? Probably around about here. So 10% gain. But now you're looking at almost 13.7. And if you're even earlier in this, you could have gone 20% gain. That is insane for these kinds of movements. And the only reason I can think of this is it's a double bottom. That's fine. That's kind of what I expected. But the only reason is they're expecting inflation to come in cooler from now on until the end of 2023, which means that the Federal Reserve is probably going to start thinking about pausing raising interest rates. And if we get a serious deflationary feel to the economy, there is a chance that the Federal Reserve might actually undo their interest rates. And that's crazy to think about. Like, it's crazy to think about that just a couple of months ago, we were expecting inflation to continue moving up, and now it looks like it's moving down. Now, is that guaranteed? No, that's not guaranteed because it is still quite a few unknowns. The last time this happened, inflation actually came down, and then it just jumped straight back up. Now, how do we know what inflation is doing? You would have to look at the bond market. The US 10-year bond is usually my go-to for inflation tracking. What is it showing right now? It is showing that as far as the market is concerned, interest rates should be, for 10 years, should be around about 3.5%. Now, if I remember correctly, the US interest rates are already above that. right? I had to go and check. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the US inflation rates are already above that, which means that the markets are just not convinced that the Federal Reserve should keep raising interest rates. Otherwise, they the markets think that they're going to break something. And we're going to have to see exactly if that's the case. But I'm not too sure if today is going to be the final straw to break the inflation camel. What do I mean by that? So tonight at around about 2 a.m. Australia time, they're going to release the CPI and core inflation rate for the US. Very, very important numbers. Forecast for core inflation rate is 5.7 and the previous was 6%. And in CPI inflation rate is 6.5 and previous was 7.1. Now that is a massive drop. I will admit that's a 0.6 point drop for inflation year on year. No, sorry, this is month on month. The previous month was 7.1, this is 6.5. That's an insane drop. Now, if it comes out to what it is, there's a chance that the markets will stay flat because they've gone up a lot in preparation for this. But if we, for some unknown reason, get a hotter inflation rate, the market will dump aggressively and the dollar will go to the moon. And other side of the coin is if it's cooler than expected, there's a chance that the markets will take off. The AUD USD will probably go above 7. SPY will probably gain about, what does it need to gain to break this blue? Oh my God, if it does that, that'll be crazy. If it goes 1.7% today, confirms the move up. I mean, don't forget, you need to confirm it for more than just one day. But let's say it goes up by 1.7%, it hits the white line and goes above it. Let's say that all happens today. What should we, 2%, it has to gain 2% today. What should we expect if that all happens today? If that happens today, then I would want it to go up, retest, and then go up. If it doesn't do that, then that's a false rally. And I'd be very, very scared of getting into it if it just does this. If the market just does this, guess what? That's fine, but it's not confirming anything. It has to retest something. It could retest this and then go up higher, but that's just not likely. So what I'm expecting is, even if the market does this, then there's a chance that that's actually just going to cause inflation to go up in February, March, April, or sometime along the line. The Federal Reserve is going to come out and say, we have to go another 75 basis point. And then the market's just going to be like, whoop, down here. So I'm expecting a retest and all that stuff. Hawkish comments from the Federal Reserve still coming out. So there's a lot of games being played. Another one is BTC, Bitcoin. So crypto obviously is taking a massive dive and is doing a lot better recently, but that's only because of the inflation looks like it's backing off, which means that the policy for money to become harder to get your hands on, unless you have a savings account, is fighting against crypto. Now, if Bitcoin goes up 7.34% and hits, let's say 19,000 is a pretty good resistance, but it does like 19,500, like it likes the 500s. 7%, it hits 7%, and then it goes above that, above the purple line. Oh boy, that is very bullish if it then retests the purple line and goes back. It has to do the retest. That's an important fact, and we're going to have to see how that all turns out. Now, another one for the dollar. Now, the dollar is actually really interesting because if you look at this right now, and it's really hard to tell, but the dollar actually had a bit of a breakout from this downward channel, and it looks like it's just retesting this downward channel and doesn't want to go underneath it. It doesn't want to fall above it. Now, another one you can do that against is the Japanese yen, which is considered a very safe currency because the Japanese government holds most of it. And you can look at this. You can look at the RSI. It actually shows a double bottom on the RSI and strength on the daily RSI and the MACD. And yet the price action is still moving down. So the dollar is actually getting bought at these points. And if it breaks above this, it can go and retest this easy. And that'll be pretty interesting. That's a 3.46% gain. And then if it goes beyond that, it can then go back and restart its bull run. It'll be crazy to see that kind of stuff happen. Now, we're not going to be 100% sure what's going to happen. It looks like Biden's already prepared a speech. And if that's the case, then there's a pretty high chance that the CPI is going to come out better than expected. Anyways, we're going to have to see how that all goes. Thanks for listening, guys, and see you guys next time.